Good morning. Welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. My name is Anthony.
I'm Carla Marie.
Couple things we're going to get into today as we just completed the hype train before the show even started, which is always fun. You Look Great gear giveaway. We got another one today. It will not be here tomorrow.
Who won't be here tomorrow?
The You Look Great gear giveaway.
Oh.
So if you want to enter, the contest is open. The giveaway is open already. Just type in exclamation point followed by the word enter. Hit send in the chat, and you're all good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, you don't have to pay to watch us, but you do not pay. Have an account to watch us. You could do that for free, but you do have to have an actual account to enter the chat.
Right.
That's how Twitch works. And it is September, so if you have not subbed yet, you do get discounts on new subscriptions. So 20% off of a new 1-month subscription.
Yes.
25% off of a new 3-month subscription. And 30% off of a 6-month subscription. So feel free to do that. September's only got, what? 11 days?
Yep.
There's 30 in September. 30 days has to, yeah. What? How do you remember it?
September. Well, I just know them.
You know, so if I just said,
yes.
You have to answer within 2 seconds.
Okay, we've done this before.
March.
31.
30 days has September. Yeah,
it's
okay.
31. You don't have to check.
I have to check. I have to test you.
No.
July.
31.
30 days has September, April, June. Okay. October.
31.
June.
30.
September.
30.
I don't believe you. Anyway, we do have the You Look Great giveaway. We're going to do that after Carla Marie's football recap, which will come after
the shots.
The shots. So what do we got today, Carla Marie?
Well, let me speak for a second.
What just happened to your brain?
I saw a few people saying they like my shirt.
Okay.
It is my Hocus Pocus shirt. I was waiting until summer was over, which is in like 2 days. But,
so you didn't wait.
But it's 53 degrees out at this moment in time, so I was like, it's time.
Okay.
Although it's going to be 70s today. Well, let me show you.
Cool.
Can they see it?
Yeah, I think they can see it. Shauna, thank you very much for those 5 gifted Tier 1 subs.
Shout out to Dana on Long Island who helped me get this, and she actually starts a new job today. She's not even in here live, but let's pour it up. So we are doing buttery nipples, which is Lil
I don't think
Jon.
I've ever ordered these not drunk on a vacation somewhere.
Is it Lil Jon when he's like, buttery nipples, lemon
And
drops?
shots, yeah.
Yeah.
Song of shots.
Okay, so.
Also, Jordan Puyallup in the chat just wrote, "Morning, guys. Really cool. I saw a couple pictures on Twitter from the UW football game with you two in the background at Husky Stadium."
How do we get to send these?
That's pretty cool.
All right, so in a buttery nipple is butterscotch, schnapps, and Irish cream.
I never even knew that.
No.
Not that I've ordered the shot that many times in my life, but I've had it.
So this is, now if you took the Seattle Cocktail Club class last week, I will be layering the shot, which means this is going to go in and the cream's going to go in. Yes, cream second.
Well, shouldn't we have shot glasses so that people can see that you're layering it?
Do we have shot glasses?
I don't know. All right, well, you're going to have to trust us.
So I'm putting 1 ounce of butterscotch schnapps into each shot glass.
Audrey, the only G, thank you very much for that gifted Tier 1 sub.
Then I take the Irish cream, and I'm going to do 1/2 ounce on the top of each. So I'm pouring it into this to make my life easier.
Also, I just saw that Claire in Olympia, she subscribed for 25 months and is on a
Damn,
25-month streak, which I've got to assume is the longest streak we've got, right? 25 months in a row?
2 years.
2 years in a month.
Wait. When
What?
did we get partner?
We became
Oh, no, you
partner.
can subscribe with affiliate, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, hold on, everybody. Just got to be quiet.
Well, when you said everyone be quiet, I was very confused because you can't hear the chat. So, what? Crystal Glitterbug said we called them slippery nipples. Buttery, slippery, whatever.
They're nipples. Well, I think it layered because it's only on top.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to find some clear glasses for tomorrow.
Even if we use like the bigger
Yeah.
tumblers, it'll be fine. I didn't really think of that. Oh, I keep forgetting to do that part. Okay. Well,
Rebecca in Jacksonville said, "This is totally random, but I have the Queen's funeral procession on my phone beside me, and it is legit making me emotional."
yeah. I mean, I was thinking about that too. Like, I lost both of my grandmas, and no matter how old they are, it still sucks. Could you imagine having a camera in your face?
Yeah, I think when you grow up like that, though, especially for the princes,
But there's still people more like no
Yes.
matter what, at the end of the day, they lost their grandma.
yes,
Everything aside, and you're at a funeral, and there's just cameras.
yeah, but I think for Prince
on you.
Harry and Prince William, I mean, they went through losing their mom tragically, publicly.
But like
this
also,
has to be easier than that.
yeah, but they were also kids.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have I been at a wake or a funeral and like my brother will like lean over and say something and it's not anything rude. It's something maybe like funny about that like my grandma would have said or whatever. And like you like laugh in that moment. They snap that photo. Oh, Prince Harry laughing at his grandma's funeral. It's like
I can see that. SPZ Dad, thank you very much for the 500 bits. That's awesome.
all right, let's do the nips.
Nip shots. Cheers to you, Carla Marie. Cheers to Seattle Cocktail Club, and especially cheers to everyone who supported the stream this morning. Thank you. Pretty good.
Speaking of grandmas,
And buttery nipples.
butterscotch is such a grandma thing. My grandma used to have the butterscotch candies in the yellow wrapper.
Mine never really had them. Mine had those terrible strawberry wrapper ones.
They're so good. They were always old.
Now I understand why everyone says your taste is terrible.
Who says that?
Oh, normally they're talking about me, but I think in this case we should be talking about the strawberries.
So good. You know what I hated that my
Ugh.
grandma had? The lavender candies. They like
Lavender?
tasted like truly like soap. And I was like, I don't want this. And then all the other candies will taste like soap too because she did that.
Let me pull up these
Oh, by
these
the way,
strawberry old
everyone
person.
knows exactly what
candy.
you're talking about. But today
Ugh.
is National Butterscotch Pudding Day. So
Oh, that's nice. So why couldn't we have butterscotch pudding?
because we don't eat.
What if we did a shot of pudding
Ew.
instead?
We kind of do with the wobbles.
Okay. So let me transition here. This is the candy I'm talking about. And notice all I had to do was type in strawberry old person candy, and these come up. These are absolutely disgusting.
Nuts.com has a pound of them for $4.99.
How many old person candy things can we buy from Nuts? Also,
Oh, Nuts.com is great.
is it really?
Yeah.
Let's see. Nuts.com.
They have all kinds of things.
Do they sell footballs?
This is where what?
Look, they got a football in their logo.
This is where I got a bunch of the stuff I needed to make the gluten-free gummy bears, the vegan gummy bears or whatever that turned out horrendous, but they had all the things here.
So a serving size has to be 1, right? 17 grams. It's got to be 1. 60 calories per. No fat. A lot of sugar, obviously.
Imagine they made that little candy serving size is half.
Well, they used to do that all the time, and I think there was actually some sort of legislation that was passed that like where one Snickers bar would be like 3 servings or 1 bar is 3 servings. It's like, no, 1 bar. You sold it as an individual package.
Then you need to add a little thing so I can seal it.
That too. So let's see. Best sellers at nuts.com. I guarantee those strawberries.
It's nuts.
Nuts. Look
Makes
at
sense.
that.
All right, how much are almonds by the pound here? Okay, look at that.
What?
Walnuts.
Is
They're
this
so
cheap?
expensive. No.
Okay.
Well, they're not cheap. They're expensive everywhere. Nuts are so expensive.
They are. But you could buy a 1 pound bag of these guys for $5.
Oh my god, I can still feel like when you bite into it and it's soft and you think it's gonna be hard.
It freaks me out when people say they like these things.
I love them. Let me see what the chat's saying.
The chat is, let's see, what do you got in the chat? My Nana always had Werther's original candies or nips in her purse. Speaking of nips, buttery nipples.
Go up. Love them.
Really? Well, no, people can just answer now. Love them. Good. Gross.
Poll.
Thank you. It's Meg, not Megan.
Does that thing do a poll easily?
Actually, that's a good question. So
Alicia.
I downloaded an app, by the way, that works with Streamlabs, which is what we use to get on Twitch. And I can actually like change our here, let's see.
Alicia from the 215 said, my dad was obsessed with nuts.com. He used to order stuff from there weekly before he passed away. He had COPD and during COVID, he couldn't leave the house. That's nuts.com coming in to save the day.
If someone
They
just
should
said, hey,
sponsor
log on to nuts.com real quick, wouldn't have done it before today, before I knew nuts.com was an actual thing.
Yeah.
What are you looking for? Just more people to say they love
No,
the candy?
I'm just curious what people think of them.
No, it doesn't look like I can do a poll from here. Settings.
Brittany said, I wouldn't
No.
buy them, but if someone has them, I'll eat them. I also like candy corn. Same, like, I don't really buy candy corn, but I will eat it.
Oh, no, what did I do? Here we go. Remote.
Someone also...
Candy corn, this might be an unpopular opinion. I actually enjoy candy corn.
But how much of it?
A
A
couple.
handful. Yeah.
A handful might be too much.
Well, how much is a handful?
I got big hands. My handful is different than yours. What is... That's a hard thing to answer.
Renee said, my grandma upgraded to cream savers. They were the best.
Creme?
Creme?
I don't know.
It was from Lifesavers, right?
Yeah.
But they were like an orange creamsicle. My grandma had those
They
too.
looked like, the oil of Olay. There's like a very specific bottle. It's got like ribbons. That's what the cream savers looked like. If you turn to that bottle of oil of Olay, I think that's the company that makes it, right? Into cream savers.
Okay. I Googled how much is a handful. A small quantity, usually approximately equal to 5, the number of things on a hand. Oh.
So I could go for more than 5. So maybe 2 handfuls.
I think 5 is good. Candy corn.
5 candy corn? Sure. What else do we got in the chat, Carla Marie? Let's move on from there.
I wonder if there's a candy corn shot we can do next month. Oh, like, would they give us corn?
It's corn. Okay, moving on down the list, though.
Where's my...
Carla Marie's football recap. So this is the first year in my entire life, in my existence knowing Carla Marie, that Sunday night I got a football recap from Carla Marie.
You got a Seahawks recap.
A Seahawks recap from Carla Marie.
Yeah.
What I think everyone needs to hear your, how would I put this? Your summary
Yeah.
of what happened in the Seahawks game yesterday. Because obviously you're a big Seahawks person now.
I am. And tell you what, watching these games, like with some skin in the game,
What skin do you have in the game?
well, if the Seahawks do better, the fans are happier, and then we get to do more events and stuff.
Okay.
But
okay.
just like knowing the people on the field, like you feel bad or excited when things happen to them. And it was a rough go yesterday for the boys.
So what did you see?
Well, the first half was pretty bad. They scored 0 points. And they almost scored. And it was a trick play. And DJ Dallas.
Was it DJ Dallas? He was on the field?
Yeah, they were like, here,
Oh.
DJ, you throw it. And then he threw it and it got intercepted. And I was like, no.
So they put him on the field like once and he threw an interception.
No. He's on the field, but he went to throw. Like, it was a trick play for him to throw, not Gino.
No, I understand that.
They didn't put him on the
I
field.
feel like
once.
DJ Dallas does not play very often.
What? Yes, he does.
Has he been?
Yeah.
Oh, is he like their 4th string running back?
No. This is why I told you to put him in your fantasy football league. You don't listen to me.
Yeah, he would have thrown an interception.
Except for that. But I guess at Miami, he did similar. I guess twice he did a similar play and was able to make 2 touchdowns that way.
I mean, I'm sure he's a phenomenal athlete, and I'm sure he can throw the ball.
Yeah, so that was a
Just,
bummer.
it's tough when you're not a quarterback. I feel like everyone thinks the trick play can work because when you see it work, it's awesome.
Yeah,
But
So-
it's very hard to convert on those things.
A lot of the game felt like they were doing the right things, but they just weren't going well.
Like
so
what?
it wasn't like they were just getting like, or like they were doing cool things and it wasn't going well. It wasn't like they were just like getting like going 3 yards and getting tackled, going 3 yards and getting tackled.
Okay.
There was just a lot of sloppiness happening. But
So if you had one word for yesterday's Seahawks game,
it got very exciting
why?
because in the second half, the 49ers went to kick a field goal and Tariq Woolen just says, nope. And It was wild. He slaps it down. Michael Jackson grabs it. And literally, it was like a 90-yard touchdown. It was the most insane thing. And I was like, all right, this is it. We're turning around, boys. And we did not turn around. So I would say it was upsetting, is my one word.
So everyone's saying that their teams won, or the people who did win. So we had a Jets win, a Dolphins win. Who else won yesterday? The Jags. There was some crazy stat.
Oh, I saw it on NFL memes.
Where it was like the four teams. I think it was the Jets, the Jags. Oh, who else? You're going to pull it up?
Mm-hmm.
4 historically terrible teams.
Won all yesterday for the first time in like 3,000
since like the 90s. Which, sorry, long time ago.
Okay, so it says these 4 teams all won on the same day for the first time in 3,935 days.
3,000, so
They
it's over 10
are
years.
the Jaguars, Jets, Giants, Colts? Who's that guy?
That's the Lions.
Lions.
So 2 New York teams and 2 Cats.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also love NFL memes.
Great account.
I learned a lot about the NFL from them.
Yeah, the Raiders, I saw a couple people mention the Raiders in the chat. Not a good game.
Is Joe Burrow not having a good year?
Joe Burrow? No, he lost his first 2 games.
Yeah, but there's the Joe Burrow last year, and it's him, and Joe Burrow this year, and it's Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's still coming back from appendix surgery. So
Oh. When did he have it?
early August, which it says it's supposed to be like a 6-week recovery, but
Yeah,
when
but
you're a
you
pro
can't-
athlete.
And you can't
it's
work
a little-
out of those 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Are we talking about Tom Brady? Because let me tell you what. There was a video yesterday of that man-child throwing an iPad like he was a kid in a restaurant who was told he couldn't order chicken fingers,
Yes.
smashing it on the ground. And all I saw that and I was like, oh, but women are too emotional.
You know, I saw you and a lot of people posting that every time a guy does something, right, it's like, oh, but women are too emotional. And
Yeah, but look at what
I
happened
don't-
with Serena Williams.
here's
She got literally tossed out of the whole tennis world.
here's the thing. We're all emotional. Are women emotional? Yes. Are men emotional? Yes. So when it comes to like leadership roles, when people say like, oh, women are too emotional, that's nonsense. Okay. Because men are
Yeah.
also emotional. But I think we have been conditioned for centuries to show the same emotion in 2 very distinct ways. Men show their emotions when it comes to frustration, anger, grief, with throwing and yelling, right? Women show that same emotion, anger, frustration, grief, by crying.
No, but not
Both of-
Serena Williams.
Not Serena Williams. That doesn't mean every man throws
but
an
I'm
iPad when
saying,
he's mad
like,
either.
No, but I think that let's do this in sports. If you do something on the sidelines like that, you get tossed out of the game.
What, say that again?
You throw something on the sidelines, out of the game.
I don't know. I
think that would be great. Take your anger out on the field.
I think it's different. The one thing, and listen, I don't care. I don't care about Tom Brady. I think he looked like a maniac throwing an iPad.
Like a big baby.
Yes. But I think when you're in a sport where people are literally trying to destroy you every single time you snap the ball, you're in a different headset than a normal human. Right? Your mind, your mindset, your frame of mind is in a different place. It's a different planet.
Yeah, but they're used to that. Like they're trained.
Yeah,
for
and
that.
but that's what they do. They're in a sport that, without question, is the most physically demanding sport that you can play, and the most dangerous. So I think at times when you have eruptions like that, it makes sense. Now, John McEnroe slamming his racket down and freaking out on the court, totally different.
Yeah.
I really do think there's a difference between football and every other sport. When I see baseball players,
Like Paul O'Neill smashing the cooler with his bat.
yeah, you're mad at yourself, and I get it. You know, it's heightened emotions and things like that. UFC, you're right. UFC is definitely up there in terms of danger and aggression and stuff.
But they don't take things out on the sidelines.
But
They
I guess
just get
you are allowed
beat
to
up.
fight, so it's different.
Yeah. Tukaboo said, men are just as emotional as women. They just don't get bashed for it.
I just think we are all emotional. We have just been conditioned to show it in different ways. And women have been conditioned over time to cry. That if you're angry, if you're upset in
I
any
don't think
situation.
we're conditioned to cry. I think that's just what happens to some women.
I think that's what, but I think it is an acceptable reaction, regardless of your situation. It is an acceptable reaction for women to cry.
Okay. So if Serena Williams just cried on the court, that would have been acceptable. She wouldn't have got thrown out.
Well, yeah. Why would you get thrown out for crying? What would the basis of throwing someone out for crying be?
There's no crying in tennis. I don't know. I don't know.
And I think men have been conditioned that if you feel those same emotions that sometimes cause women to cry, you throw things, you yell.
It's Megan said, but Tom Brady should be used to this. He's been in the sport for 50 years at this point.
Yeah, his brain might be broken.
Oh, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like they're an 8-year-old. It's their first time playing football.
I think you're in a different emotional state when you play football. Oh, here's a little cat.
Amanda Moe said it's even had the iPad he tossed even had the cover on it like it was for kids.
Well, yeah, because they use the Microsoft Surface tablets and they have like little.
Oh yeah, it wasn't even an
things.
iPad.
Yeah.
And Brady's got a lot going on in his personal life.
That is true. Audrey, the only G said you're contradicting yourself, Tones. What did I mean, I'm sure I did. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Augie said men should cry, but society does.
And but that's what I'm talking about in the way that we've been conditioned to deal with similar emotions. When men are frustrated, we are told we can be angry, we can yell, we can throw things. When women are frustrated, it's okay to cry. Those two things, those are very real things.
I love this from Wise and Shine. If I'm not in between a 3 and a 7 on the happiness scale, I'm crying. Too angry, sad, frustrated, bring it on. Louise said, I don't get why women get bashed for showing emotions more often than men, regardless of what the emotional action is. So if I cry, I'm getting bashed. If I throw something, I'm getting bashed. If a man cries,
I think if a man,
it's like, look at him. He was able to show some emotion.
No. I think that in the sports and political space, if you just saw a guy crying, he would get ripped apart.
If you saw Brady with tears in his eyes on the sideline, just sitting there, I think you'd feel
because
for
he
him.
lost. If it's not the Super Bowl, no one would feel for him.
So he lost yesterday. I didn't watch this game. What happened?
They did end up winning. Actually,
they won.
They beat the Saints for the first time in 5 tries, I believe. I'm trying to keep up with the chat.
It's true, Tracy. Everyone has a lot going on in their personal lives.
That's true. Probably different when it's public, though.
Yeah.
When your wife is out there telling people like she's not happy that you went back to go play football, which is totally understandable. It's a sport that for those months of the year completely takes over your life, much like every professional sport does. And it's a dangerous sport. It's a very dangerous sport. And I saw someone mention hockey being as dangerous.
Yeah.
Hockey is dangerous.
You're just not getting tackled.
I don't think it's the same as football. And in hockey, this is a weird contradiction here. And in hockey, when you get upset, they have a space built out to fight. Like that is the only sport that's not professional fighting where they say, okay, we're going to penalize you a little bit, but this is part of the game.
Yeah.
Which has always rubbed me the wrong way. I hate it about hockey.
Oh, I love it.
Why is hockey the only sport that's allowed to fight?
Well, then talk to the other sports. Basketball. Because they're not actually fighting. If basketball did that, that'd be fist to face. Hockey, you're like,
but they rip their helmets off.
You might as well be in a sumo wrestler costume.
They rip their helmets off and they start punching each other.
You're like this on the ice. You're not even hitting anybody.
So that's why we should encourage men to cry. I think we should encourage people to just have proper reactions to their emotions, because crying isn't always the best reaction to that emotion or in that setting. Neither is yelling or throwing things. I think we should be able to teach people it's okay to take in information and process it properly so that you're not crying, throwing, screaming, or yelling. None of those are healthy reactions. If you're sad, of course, you can cry. I encourage everyone to rub some dirt on it. Yes, Fred.
Yeah, but I'll be like
Emotional regulation. That's a great way to put that.
I feel like if you get angry and you start crying, that is an emotion you can't really control.
I disagree.
If you get angry and throw something, you can control that.
Why?
Because tears are not something you can control.
No, but you can
physically picking up something and tossing it. You cannot.
Okay.
You cannot compare tears with throwing an iPad. They are not the same thing.
I couldn't disagree with you more. But let me explain. How many times, Carly, when you've been upset, have you slammed something, done something where you're like, I probably didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
But in that moment, your brain wasn't processing that emotion properly, and it caused you to do something physically, similar to crying and similar to throwing things when you're angry.
No.
You can you can't control your tears.
Turn on the phone.
Yeah. Let me log in. No one call yet. If you can't control your tears because you're angry,
the same way you can't control laughter. Sometimes, like you can't control laughter. You start laughing, you can't control that.
No. Hold on. Why can't I log on here?
We're going to get a scientist on the phone or a biologist. I don't know who does that. Anatomist. Who does that?
What are you saying?
The body.
I don't even know what you're saying right now.
What kind of expert would we get on?
I mean, I think you're talking about a biologist. Let me log in here. But I don't think that's what you mean to say.
Well, there's a psychologist we can get on. Her name is Carla Murray.
Real quick, before we get into the phone calls, I do want to thank everyone. I saved like 60 numbers last week of people who texted us with their name, their city, and their state. We're not going to call you back if you do this right now, but if you want us to just have your info, that way when you do call one day, we know it's you and it's not like some spam call. Feel free to text us right now. The number is 201 for New Jersey, 305 for Miami, 0894 lunch. You get it? 0894 lunch.
Yeah, I thought you did.
Okay.
Okay.
So you can text us your name, your city, your state to that number, 201-305-0894. Now you can call us if you want to weigh in on whether or not crying and throwing things are both inappropriate reactions. And keep in mind, I
will never in my entire existence of my whole life ever agree that crying is an inappropriate reaction.
To anything?
To anything.
In any situation.
To anything.
That is nonsense.
No, it's not.
If you're in a board meeting, if you're,
it's not inappropriate to cry if that is
absolute nonsense.
Oh, one we don't. This is going to be Augie, I think. Hello?
If you're in a board meeting.
You gotta turn us down in the background because we can hear ourselves on delay.
No way.
Hey, who is this?
Working?
Hello.
Oh, I can see you guys on my TV. It's Augustine.
Oh,
I knew
Augustine. Okay, so first off, don't pay attention to the TV because it's gonna be super delayed back and forth.
No worries.
So let me put your info on the
Okay, so
page.
you're calling us from the Netherlands, right?
Yes, I am.
That's so crazy. I know we saw the plus in the number, so that's why I assumed it was you. Okay, so what do you have to say about this crying versus throwing things topic?
I disagree with Tones. I think society has conditioned men not to cry, and I think we should let men cry and just express their emotions, because I think crying is much better than having people pick things up. I do agree with Tones a little bit. I do think there are certain situations where you can control your emotions and then say, hey, I'm going to just take a step back, take a breath, count 1 to 10, and I think it should be okay. But I appreciate crying more than anything else because it's just much more easier, I guess. So, yeah, I think that's what I would say.
Okay, but, I can agree. I can agree that crying in most cases is less threatening.
Yeah.
Than yelling or throwing things.
Not threatening.
And keep in mind, I would never say throwing an object at a person is a good reaction. But if you're like Tom Brady threw the iPad on the ground yesterday.
You can't compare that to someone else starting to cry. You cannot compare that.
Yes, I can. Because I think in that setting. Okay, hold on.
Naturally.
Yes, but in that setting, let's just think about Tom Brady right now. Okay?
Yes.
Let's think about he threw the you know what? Screw Apple. He threw the Microsoft Surface down on the field yesterday because he was frustrated either with his team's lack of effort, the scoreboard, whatever he was frustrated with in that moment. He slammed that thing on the ground. If Tom Brady walked off the field with the same frustration and was just bawling and crying with tears running down his face, it also would have been an inappropriate response to that stimulus.
No, I don't think so. Because
No, I don't think so.
What?
Because crying
Yeah,
is
I
an
know.
emotion. Throwing things is not an
No.
emotion.
Crying itself is not an emotion. An emotion is grief, sadness, anger, happiness. You can cry through all of those things. Therefore, crying is a reaction to an emotion. Crying itself is not an emotion. I
But
know
physically
I'm
throwing
right there.
something is not part of what your natural human body does. You can't say laughing and crying are the same as picking up an object and throwing it, because now you're involving another object in this emotion. So you cannot compare that.
Okay.
You can compare him being
Absolutely.
like, "Oh, fuck," to him crying, but physically tossing an item completely changes the game.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
because I don't know whether you guys saw, but there was a UFC fighter who won a fight, and then he used his platform and said, "Hey, I think men should, take time out and go to therapy and work on themselves." And he got a lot of praise for that. So
Good.
I think if Tom Brady cried, I think it could have been fine. I think people would have been like, I mean, you're gonna have a 50-50 split where some reporters are gonna write and say, "Oh, Tom Brady needs to man the fuck up and needs to stop crying," and then you'll have that who will support him. So I do think, I do agree that crying is a reaction from an emotion, but I do think you cannot stop it if it just comes out naturally, because there will be times where I will be able to be aware of that and not cry, but there are times where my body will just physically react and I will just start crying like that. So that's why I think it's just a much more healthy response to just let it all out versus taking something and throwing it across the street or something. So yeah.
So, and we're going to let you go. First off, thank you very much for hanging with us, because you
No
did make some
problem.
very, very good points. And I do agree with you on a lot of the things that you said. I think it is healthy for men to understand,
Of course.
in certain situations, what you actually want to do is cry, but you're not letting yourself, so you throw and you scream and you do things like that. So I agree. But I also think in certain settings, it is your responsibility, even if your knee-jerk reaction is to cry about something that makes you upset or frustrated. I do think in certain settings, listen, not at a funeral, not when you're being broken up with, not at things like that. But in certain settings, I think it is also your responsibility to not cry, just as it is your responsibility to not throw things or yell at people who don't deserve to be yelled at. I think they all, that's where the similarity is to me.
Augie, question, completely off, well, not completely off topic, but what
Yeah.
do people in the Netherlands think of the NFL
The NFL
and like American
there are
football?
some people who follow it really hardcore. I mean, we shit on Americans all the time, which is classic. Like they do that all the time in Amsterdam. Like they're just like, oh, you can literally walk on like the main streets and just tell like the tourists from like Europe versus tourists in America. But there are some hardcore people who follow the NFL. I had a person who I studied with at uni who was following it like really, really hardcore. So I don't think you'll go to the pubs and see them watching it, but you will see them, watching it on their computers as you walk through town. So, but it's not as big.
Okay.
So yeah.
That's good to know.
Well, Audrey, thank you so much for hanging with us, man. We appreciate it.
No problem, man. You look great.
You look great.
You look great.
Is that our first international You Look Great on the phone?
Maybe. I'm not sure. Again, you can always text us if you want. The number is 201-305-0894, or you can call us. If you do text us, though, let us know your name and where you're from. That way we can save you and have your info next time you call. You worked up? Are you going to cry?
I might cry. Fred the mailman said I'm 100% with Tones on this one. Audi Swan said, I can stop myself from throwing things or flipping off my coworkers, but I can't withhold crying when I'm incredibly upset about something.
Okay, let's break this down.
All I'm trying to say.
Let's break this down. And I want to give a shout out. Can you scroll up a little bit, Carla Marie? To who is that? I can't see what that is.
Angeline.
Thank you very much for your...
Angela in UP.
Okay, thank you very much for your subscription with Prime.
University.
So let's go back to the comment a second ago. If you scroll up, the one you have highlighted.
Oh.
Audi Swan said I can stop myself from throwing things or flipping off my coworkers, which is very good. It's a very good skill to have. But I can't withhold crying when I'm incredibly upset about something. Now, let's break down that last part of the sentence. What are we talking about when we are upset?
What do you mean?
So
Elaborate.
I
Ask
think
that question again.
there are a lot of things that can make a person upset, right? That you could lose someone in your family or a pet. I think we can all agree.
Is in anger.
So, okay, if you are upset because something didn't go your way at work,
Yeah.
are you allowed to cry?
Yes.
That is absolute nonsense.
How many times did I cry at work?
A lot, and it
Yeah.
was absolute nonsense.
No. And how many times did you throw things at work?
After the first year, I didn't really.
Yeah.
I learned how to control. I learned
Threw a whole pen cup once. Not at me, but threw a
not
whole
at
pen
anybody.
cup.
Let's
No.
be very clear. But Carla Marie,
How many times have you smashed the table and been like, fuck?
a handful.
A lot. Just
I-
as much as I've cried, probably.
No way. But I've also
Really?
learned how to control that,
Mm.
and I don't do that anymore.
Mm.
See how that works? And I would argue. So
I just thought about the day you threw the pen cup, and I just went, you're picking that up.
yeah, and I did.
And it wasn't that you were mad at me. I
No.
forgot what it was. Something else that like was out of our control.
Okay, now let's break that down. I threw a pen cup at nobody,
Right.
right? It was my anger wasn't directed towards a person. The pen cup wasn't directed towards a person. That was all self-contained. But it probably made you uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, because you weren't in a room. I mean, you weren't in a room alone.
Okay. So that probably made you uncomfortable because of my own reaction to something that had nothing to do with you. Made you uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And because it made someone uncomfortable,
It's different.
I learned that I can't do that anymore.
Here's why it's different.
How?
Because we'll just say, we'll put it in this situation. If the cops were to come to this house right now, and I was crying, and you had thrown something,
Yeah.
they are not going to put me in jail for crying for domestic abuse, but you throwing something could be.
Let's relax
Or
with the domestic abuse
in an
talk.
office, right? Like just being violent to someone. Throwing something counts as you're violent, you're going to HR. Crying does not.
No.
You're saying I should have to go to HR and get a strike in the book because I cried.
I think that if, again, keep in mind, I feel like we've talked about this longer than we expected. We didn't even really expect to talk about this at all.
No, not at all.
I think that
This is still football recap.
in the examples that we're using, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, throwing things and dealing with anger can manifest its way and impact things differently. But in the pen cup situation that we're talking about, I took a cup of pens and I threw it in a studio completely in the opposite direction of anybody.
Okay, but
And hold on, let me finish. And my anger wasn't directed towards a person.
No.
I didn't curse anybody out. It was just a moment that I had to myself to let go of some frustration. So you're saying I should or I could go to HR for that.
yes.
Even though it was a totally independent thing. It had
Yes.
nothing to do with anyone else in the office.
Like Lenny says, there's no danger in crying. There is danger to the pen cup hitting me in the eye, even if you didn't throw it at me.
But
And wasn't
yes,
even for
in
the
theory-
anger at all had nothing to do with me.
nothing. And yes, in theory, that pen cup can hit someone if it's in their direction or ricochets in a weird place. I get that. And I'm not condoning anyone throwing cups of pens, okay? What I'm saying is if no one else was involved, no one else was obviously injured or anything like that, right? Why is it anyone else's problem? Just
Because
like
you-
why is you crying anyone else's problem?
Because you physically, I can't process in my brain that this isn't processing in yours. Physically throwing an item, whether anyone else is around or not,
Mhm.
and I've done it before, is unacceptable.
Why?
Because you are taking something that is not right composed in your own.
So
body.
because your tears are in your face,
they are, yes,
they're fine.
yes.
That's your big
Crying
deciding factor.
doesn't and cannot hurt anyone else. It
No.
doesn't make anyone feel scared.
That's not true.
Okay, if I start crying, you're immediately like, "Oh, she's gonna hurt me. She's crying."
In the
No.
workplace, I'll tell you what crying does. In the
This
workplace,
is- I'm gonna go for.
and that's fine. You're gonna cry. If you're
You can't. I need you to understand that, and especially, and this is where it's gonna go male versus female
Yeah.
as well. A man throwing an item, whether it's a pen cup or Tom Brady on the sidelines, is also a double standard for men. Yes, the same way you're saying women crying, whatever, like you were earlier.
Mhm.
A man throwing something is going to always be threatening physically.
Okay.
A female crying cannot be put on the same, and vice versa. A female throwing something isn't going to be on the same scale as a man throwing something, because that's just what society has done. And a man crying, if you started crying at work, I'm not going to be like, oh, I feel threatened, he's crying.
No, but this is the difference. I think, yes, I agree with you that throwing something does make people feel on edge, does make people feel unsafe, especially in the workplace, right? But I also think in the workplace that if you cry in a professional setting, it makes the people around you, A, uncomfortable. It makes them not feel like they can actually be free with their thoughts and their ideas near you.
But what I'm trying to tell you is that is not something I can control. I cannot, no matter how much I have tried to control it. I can't.
But you should.
No, there's a million people that will tell you the same thing.
In the workplace,
It doesn't matter if I'm in the workplace or in a toilet or at a carnival.
If you're in a toilet, throw and cry as much as you want.
You can go to the bathroom and cry, but you're still in a workplace. You can't, in that moment, if you are about to cry, even if you hold back tears, what's going to happen? You're going to get choked up, not be able to talk, and you're going to cry. You may be wired differently. There are people that I'm sure that are wired like you, but there are also plenty of people that are wired like me.
Listen.
Where you can't tell me that I can control my tears, because I would love to. I would love to.
Then you can work on it.
Okay, and I have, but I will still cry when I'm angry, because that's
Naz Mama just said, I want to call, but I think I'll cry.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know a lot of people are agreeing with you here. And I will say, a lot of people are agreeing with you because we probably have more women than men in this chat.
No, there are plenty of men agreeing with me.
And I'm not saying that all men and all women will agree with either of us. What I'm saying, though, and we can move on, because we're not going to... No, I'm not on Anthony Island. I think at least one person is on
Fred.
the island with me. Fred?
Yeah.
All right, if Fred's on the island with me, we're going to have a phenomenal time.
Aries Saucy said, I cry for no reason all the time, not because I want to.
But isn't that something... Because we've agreed that crying is a response to an emotion. It is not an emotion itself. Shouldn't we all be doing better? I'm not trying to say people should throw things in an office setting or on a football field or anything. Yeah. What I'm trying to say is we should all do better at controlling our reactions to the emotions that we're feeling in that moment.
And that's fine, but it's also okay to cry.
Oh, Meg agrees with me too.
It's also okay to cry.
I will tell settings.
you, but it's never okay to throw something in any setting.
I disagree.
No.
If you're a quarterback,
no,
you got to throw things.
No.
That's how you make your money.
No, not what Tom Brady did.
No. I also don't think what Tom Brady did was that bad.
But it's unnecessary.
Okay, but it's not that. Just because it's unnecessary doesn't mean it's the worst thing in the world.
Like Jess said, I cry when I get mad. It's better. I'd better cry than throwing punches.
Yes, but that's not just because it's better than throwing punches. That is a very low bar.
Thank you, Michelle.
That is a very low bar.
Michelle said, crying is a bodily, natural reaction. You literally can't help it.
Yes,
you can hold it back, but it's physically painful sometimes. Throwing something is a choice. Thank you for saying that, because that is exactly what I've been trying to say this whole time.
Throwing something is sometimes not a conscious choice. I know that sounds crazy. But I don't think that when someone is in that mindset,
Your body, your tears, Seth. Stan said, I'm a man and cannot control me crying. I don't have a choice. I can try not to cry, but then I also can't speak. That's exactly what happens to me.
And maybe that's better. Maybe just hold. You don't need to
Stop.
always say something.
We're not ever going to say hold back your tears, ever.
That's ridiculous. Ever in any situation in the world, never hold back your tears is unbelievably short-sighted.
No.
There are some times when it's probably better to hold back your tears. It just is.
Lunchbox Lob said, I grab a bucket of baseballs and head to the pitching mound when I get angry.
Let's see.
There is a pull-up.
Okay, Diana, and this that we're gonna get we're agreeing and disagreeing. Throwing things is not a conscious choice for people with anger management issues. Okay, crying then is not a choice for people with anger management issues.
That's not true.
How? It's the same thing.
We all need to meditate.
Let's see.
or something.
Hold back your tears at work, not the place for crying.
But I
Agree
physically
with Anthony on this last
cannot.
point.
So maybe I need to go to the doctor and get some medication.
No,
I'm gonna
maybe.
cry right now
Why?
because I'm so frustrated.
And well, no, you're not.
I am.
But and yes, I keep going back to the fact that I am not saying that people in the workplace or in any place should throw things when they're angry. I'm not trying to say that. All I'm saying is it is still an improper reaction to emotions, similar to how crying can sometimes be an improper reaction to some emotions. But we have talked about this now for 35 minutes, I believe.
So the next time you laugh, don't laugh. It's an improper emotion. Don't ever laugh.
Oh, man.
Don't sneeze. Improper emotion to your tree allergy.
Tones, have you considered therapy? Highly recommend. I have. Here's the thing, though. I'm not the one that cries all the time.
You need to go
Maybe
to
all these
therapy
people
to
saying
cry.
maybe all these people saying they can't hold back their tears need to go to therapy. And again, I'm not anti-crying either. I just think
Yeah, we need to pull the contest one.
there's a time and a place. Oh crap, we got 2 contests to do. All right, let's move on to here we go. Oh, that's the let me get off of that because that's people's phone numbers. That's a picture of my mom and Vicky. Okay, back here. Let me go
I
to
gotta
Stream
pee.
Elements. We got 100 people in the
Nice.
giveaway right now. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds.
Ooh, 2 more.
If you want to enter the giveaway, type in exclamation point, the word enter, and hit send. And when this gets to 22 minutes, I'll put it on the screen in a second, the contest will be over. There we go. When that gets to 22, contest is over. What's up, Caroline? I'll tell you what, though. Pretty fun show today.
For whom?
I don't know. I'm always down for a debate. All right, contest is over now. We're going
No
to...
one called in because they were scared you were going to yell at them.
Yelling at
Throw
anyone.
something at them.
All right, contest
throw
is
something
over.
in the room.
Draw a winner. Erica P31, if you are in the chat, make sure you let us know immediately. And then we're going to start another one in a second.
I got to pee real bad.
Go pee.
Okay.
Let's see if Erica P is here while you go pee.
My brother, he never, he can't cry, and he
Mhm.
used to punch holes in walls. And then my mom was like, "You do it again, I'm gonna fucking kill you."
Again, not the proper reaction to whatever emotion he was feeling in that time. Can you grab me a pen, though?
Are you gonna throw it at me?
No, it's not a whole cup. And let's be very clear, I did not
He did
throw a
not
cup
throw
of
it at
pen.
me. It was not at me.
Okay, thank you.
It was at an intern. Just kidding.
It was at
You didn't have
nobody.
an intern.
It was at nobody.
Erica, are you kidding?
All right, let's go.
She tore up this whole box.
Maybe she needs to learn how to deal with her emotions better before she starts tearing up boxes. All right, it looks like Erica P is not in the chat anymore, unless I missed it. Someone let me know. Because if not, we will pull another winner. I have not seen her. Everyone agree? Okay, perfect. So we are going to draw another winner, and that is 83 Marie Smith. Come on up. I think I just saw you in the chat a second ago, actually. '83 Marie Smith. There you are. Okay, we've got everything except for large. So you've got to let us know your size or if you want one of the You Look Great bags, which is this guy right here. Oh, XL. What do we have in XL, Carla Marie? I think it's the neon, if you want to grab that. Oh, Erica's here now. Erica, you missed your shot. I'm sorry. What? Erica P, the first winner. Yeah, but she wasn't here in time. We can't. We already picked another winner.
Wait, that's mean.
It's not mean. It's just the way it works.
XL. Here at the Carl Green Anthony show, everybody wins.
Okay, well, here's the deal. It's 8:55. We were going to do 2 giveaways anyway, so we could award 83 Marie Smith and Erica P 31 with. Okay, so let's
Extra
see.
large.
83 Marie, XL Green,
Come on, we're
Erica
millennials.
P. Let us know what you want, what your size is.
Everybody gets a trophy.
Yeah, let us know your size, or if you want the pink You Look Great drawstring backpack.
Just tell us your size.
And the last thing we're going to do today is the Huskies recap. So
I was thinking we should each have to write thesis papers
on what?
our theories. That mine is crying is not controllable, and yours basically is that it is, and that it's comparable to throwing something.
I think in certain situations it should
Except you would never get your paper in on time.
be. No.
And also, then I was like, what if we went to like a Judge Judy court and we had to each pitch our case, and there had to be a jury?
Vicky said, "Can you sell me anything you have?" And we don't have 4XL. We do have 3XL things though. I think we should have 3XL on the website too. No. Oh yeah, and that's a good reminder, by the way.
I think so.
The You Look Great store is open, just not with the things that we're giving away. That's how we're splitting this up. So if you go to youlookgreat.co, there's a bunch of stuff there. And then what we will need is Erica
Need Erica's
and
address.
83 Marie Smith to email us at
Wait.
hello@carlamarineanthony.com.
83 Marie Smith won already.
Did she? Let me check my list.
We sent her something. Hold on. You can't win 2 things,
Hold, please.
which I'm surprised it's still lit.
Well, there's no, we can't fix that. Man, this show is really rolling, and doing this giveaway through it slowed us down a lot. Oh, yeah, we do have a win for 83 Marie Smith.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, Marie. All right, great.
So we're pulling that.
Well, we can't send 2 things. Oh, wait, she said something in the chat. The rules are, we've said from day one that the rules are radio rules. You can't win a contest within 30 days. Twice.
Oh, she's okay.
Sorry.
She told us that she won before, I guess.
Sorry. It should be getting delivered soon.
Okay,
She
so
said so if you want to call it even. Perfect.
that's fair.
Okay, and now Erica said a size medium.
Which we do have. It should be the top crew neck.
Yay!
There we go.
Wait, now she's saying I didn't win. What is happening? What is happening?
Let's see. And it's kind of hard to keep up with the chat sometimes. Oh, she
she's-
lost the bag. Okay, so we're
you're
good.
right. You're right. Okay.
We're good.
Okay.
You're each gonna get what you
I
get.
knew we sent you something. You didn't win. Got
Yes.
it. Got it. I knew we smelled something in the name. So Marie had lost
Yes.
her drawstring bag that she purchased. So she left it on like a trolley somewhere in Tennessee, if I remember correctly. So that is why I had to mail something out to
Yes.
her last week. My apologies. And you're getting one of these now. Damn, I wish I waited to mail that.
Okay, so both of you, both winners today, email us at hello@carlamarineanthony.com. That way we have your names, your addresses. No, it's 83 Marie Smith. It is all
You're
good. It's
good.
just hard for us to keep up with the chat sometimes.
And our brains. Mr. Miami Cole said, oh boy.
Yeah. So we're all good now. Everything is straightened out. Last thing on the list. And I do want to talk about tipping fatigue tomorrow. Because it was an interesting article that I read.
Tippin'?
Tipping. Yeah. Tipping.
Like tipping something over.
Yeah, no, like tipping. But the Huskies recap. So I want to get through this today because obviously we did it this weekend.
Yeah.
Carla Marie and I got to fill in for Super Sam. He was nice enough to suggest us when he found out that they were going to need fill-in hosts.
Yeah.
Because he's usually the DJ and the host. He does way more than we could do.
Yeah, he DJs and hosts alongside Angelica Salem, who also does Sounders, Kraken, and sings the national anthem all over the place.
And by chance, both of them were going to be out of town
yes.
for this past weekend's game against Michigan State. We got to fill in as a team, which was really cool. And it was one of the coolest experiences. And I love college football.
Yeah.
So that helps out a lot. But being on the field for the entire game, seeing touchdowns scored like
right next to you.
3 feet in front of us, it was so cool.
It is so much fun.
And
Like, I love
especially
it.
after the nerves settled. Because I feel like,
Yeah.
especially you're a pro now, Carla
Oh,
Marie.
such.
You've got the Seahawks under your belt. You did the biggest Seahawks game of the year, most likely. And this might be the biggest UW game of the
Yeah.
year, at least at home. The first couple hits that you do, the first like live reads that you do, you're nervous.
I've also learned that so far with Seahawks and with UW that the scripts are essentially like top heavy. So the longer scripts and the more like it's harder in the beginning. And it's because it's more in depth things that you're talking about often. Like things that require like I had to do the charity event at the charity organization at the Seahawks game. So I had to know everything about that charity that I had to say. At UW, I had to know everything about the honorary captain of the game, who was a 12-year-old I had to drive in a cart, in a little helmet cart,
And
which I found out. And
That's
I had
heavy
to talk
too,
about
because you're talking about like serious stuff.
and like his battle with the heart condition. So that stuff seems to be top heavy because by the fourth quarter, it's either the game that you're winning or you're losing. So you have more chances to talk or not. And it's about getting the crowd hyped up at the end. And it's like super easy stuff. So I noticed that it was the same, but it's hard doing the hard stuff first.
Yes.
Because you're still getting warmed up.
Also, I did realize that the date said
I noticed
September
that earlier.
16th.
Yeah.
I just changed it from the last time, which was the 15th, and I just changed it one like an idiot. So thank you for letting me know in the chat. So outside of all the script stuff, what I tried to make sure that I did, especially towards the end of the game, when I think the stadium and the team even realized like there's a very good chance UW is going to win this game, and even though they were technically betting favorites, they were 3.5-point favorites to beat Michigan State. Michigan State still came in as the 11th ranked team in the country.
Crazy.
So this was a huge win that not a lot of people thought was possible, especially because UW wasn't very good last year. But I tried to make sure that I put my phone down and just looked.
I didn't have
out
service anyway. I couldn't do anything.
and just enjoyed the moment.
Is that why you took no photos of me?
Yes. Also, you were very far away from me most of the time. Most of our hits were actually
Yeah, we only did one together.
on separate parts of the field. But it was such a cool experience, and I can't thank Super Sam enough for suggesting us because that was like a bucket list item.
It was really cool.
I also thought I was going to be on TV really quickly because there was a pretty cool play at end of the second half, and I was on the east side of the field, so the end zone by Lake Washington. And at the last second, the Huskies scored a touchdown, and everyone's celebrating. And all of a sudden, I realized the wide receiver who caught the ball
Was right.
is on the side of me between me and the sidelines, me and the fans, and the camera guy that's following him is on the other side of me. So I was like front and center, but I guess they cut right before that.
I'm trying to see if we're in these photos quickly that Jordan and Puyallup mentioned, but I don't see anything just yet. So apparently we're in the background of some photos.
But
So
either
we'll share
way,
those.
it was a really, really cool experience. To all the people that sent us pictures of ourselves.
Oh, the students did rush the field.
Oh, yeah.
We were like, we gotta go. Because as much as I would love to rush the field, I didn't want to get trampled.
Yeah. Did we get a picture with Dubs too? We did get a picture with Dubs, who is the actual dog husky.
He's so
And we got a picture with Harry, the mascot husky.
Yeah. Dubs 2 is like a little furry human.
Yeah.
He's great.
And like the best trained dog you'll ever see.
They put aviators on him and he just walked around with
And a
them.
jacket.
The jacket is like, that's okay. I see dogs in jackets and little booties all the time.
But it is time for us to get out of here. Thank you very much for debating with us this morning, even though it seems like most people were on Carla Marie's side. I think I made a couple valid points from time to time. Whether or not people want to admit it, that's on you. That's on you and your conscience. We are going to be back tomorrow, and tomorrow we've got a beach waiver giveaway.
Yes, tomorrow we are going to give away beach waiver with some of the beach waiver accessories.
All right. We are out of here. Thank you very much for hanging with us. The Morning Show podcast is still available, and September is still going on for 11 days. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure you're back here tomorrow to subscribe and help get that hype train going. Peace out.
Peace out, Cub Scouts.